This video will show how to collect kinetics using Magellan and export them to Excel. First, I'm going to select a pre-existing method with some kinetic parameters already established. These particular measurement parameters will be for the Tecan M1000 plate reader. The measurement script shown here consists of a 96 well plate. It has a kinetic cycle strip with 20 cycles programmed and a very small 10-second interval between plate readings. It also has just standard fluorescence intensity measurement settings, as well as manual gain and a manual Z. My example is run in simulation, which is why I can get away with using a very small kinetic interval of 10 seconds. You may or may not use an interval at all, but if you're going to read a full 96 well plate, 10 seconds is going to be way too short of an interval. The reader normally takes at least 30 seconds to read a plate when it's going as fast as it can. Now that we've programmed the measurement, let's go and look at the plate layout and the data export and analysis. So I have labeled all of the wells in the plate as samples with the order of the sample increase running horizontally from 1 to 96. For this example, I'll be doing no data analysis with Magellan, simply exporting data to Excel. So first you'll take and make sure that you either drag and drop the items you want from the left side of the available data to the right side, which is where you have selected data, and make sure you order the data in the order that you want it to be exported. In this case, I have the well positions being exported first and the raw data next. Then go to the export options, and here you'll see that you can select to have the data exported horizontally, which means it will be removed from the plate A1 through A12, B1 through B12, or you can go vertical, which will go A1 through H1, A2 to H2, etc. For this first example, I'll pick horizontal. And then for kinetic data, you have an option of exporting as a table data in rows, or also table data in columns. At least these are the two most logical ways to export data for kinetics. If you were doing ELISAs or some other type of single endpoint reading, then one of the other matrix results or exports might be preferable. Other export options are to insert data names, which will make sure that the data name, like well position or raw data, that name is also exported with the data set, as well as you want to export the kinetic timestamps so that you can plot the data versus time. There is additional data that you can add to the export. This is text-related information, things like file names and data paths and other types of text output. The next area to be covered is the setup of the export to Excel. Here you have a couple different options. One is to open a new workbook each time the plate is measured. Second is to open or create a new worksheet each time a plate is measured. You can also insert the data into a worksheet at a specific cell location. You can also append a worksheet or send the data to a template file. This is an Excel template file, and force it into a specific cell location within that worksheet. The next and last area to be covered here will be automatic data handling. This is where you will designate the Magellan workspace file name, what the prefix will be. You may also designate where the file will be saved and pick a folder of your choosing. You will also want to make sure you click automatically save to Excel. That's shown here. Then select next. We're going to save this method. It already has a name. I'm going to save and finish, and then we can select to start a measurement. Pick that particular method from the list of our methods. And I'm going to run it here in simulation and then show you the data output. So once you have graphs like I do here, you can select them, right-click, and graph them together. In this case, because the data is overlapping, you won't see individual graphs. But here are the color coding for the different traces if we could see them. This is a view of the raw data. You can look at each individual reading by going to these selections here in the top menu. If you want to initiate an export, let's say you didn't do this automatically when the file was measured, you can launch it again from the file menu. Here we're seeing that the wells are running down the page and the data is running out across the page. If you wanted to change things, you could step back into the edit method portion of this workspace file and modify the export settings. In this case, I'm going to select to have the data go off in columns and then re-export again. This time seeing now that the wells run out across the page in columns and the timestamps run down in rows. There's also a way in Magellan to export discrete views by just going to Edit Copy to Excel. Here you can see I've copied only the wells I selected to a spreadsheet.